Hi, and welcome to Confidence Equals Beauty with Amanda Taylor. I am your host, Amanda Taylor.
Hey y'all. So we are winding down the year, and I'm really trying not to let these last few episodes be long drawn. I am very self-aware that I am long-winded, and I have a lot of examples and a lot of details, but I'm just trying to get these last few tips and topics in before 2024 comes about. And just in all honesty, I'm really working on just being a lot more vulnerable and open to this community. I am encouraging you guys to do it. I've given y'all tips and things that have helped me along the way. But I think I want to dive in a little deeper. And let's get into some topics that we tend to maybe ignore. We're too scared to talk about. We're afraid. We're going to expose ourselves and get hurt. But I'm just going to challenge us in the next year coming up. Let's work on being true and authentic to ourselves and not hiding behind facades. My wall I tend to put up is when I get close or I feel vulnerable to somebody, I tend to push away and pull back. And I will put on the facade, everything is just honky-dory, no worries, no issues, and that's not always the case. I don't feel like I need to expose all the craziness that happens every day, but if we're all real, I think we all experience this. We're terrified to be vulnerable. We have anxiety if we even hint, or there's a hint that we could get hurt. We tend to go into these defense mechanisms that we think are protecting us, but actually leave us more alone and more hurt. And so I'm going to challenge us as we go into 2024. I think as this community, we need to really surround ourselves with love, acceptance, and it's okay for us to be vulnerable with each other. It's okay to open up and share those dark sides with those we trust and love. And it's okay to not have the answer if someone comes to us and we have no idea what to say. I think it's okay to sit in silence with somebody or just simply be like, I'm here. I don't understand it, but know I'm here and I will be here with you through this. So I'm going to kind of go over some things and, I'm still learning. Even at age 40, even in the year of 2023, or ending the year of 2023, and I kind of want to share these things. Taking a break does not mean that I'm lazy. And I think when we take a break or we allow ourselves moments to just kind of sit around, we tend to let guilt take over. And we are like, oh my God, I'm lazy. Things aren't getting done. How's that going to look? But I think taking a break is very important. And like I said, it doesn't mean that you're lazy. Growth can still be found in stillness. There's a verse that has been, I guess, my verse my entire life because I am a busybody. My mind races all the time. I feel like I have to fill in the dead spaces. I talk a lot because dead spaces make me sometimes uncomfortable. But the verse is, be still and know that I am God. And I don't know how many times that one verse has presented itself over and over and over in my life. Because a lot of times I don't feel comfortable being still. But I have found through my life, when I am still, I do slow down. That is when I feel God and I connect the best. And that is when life really comes together and it moves forward and progresses instead of me trying to take control and do it all. So I'm going to encourage you. There's still growth that can be found in the stillness. Next is what others think of me is none of my concern. And this has been my serious working on serious processing, going in deep. I care way too much what people think about me or what I think they think about me. And reality is, it's none of my concern what anybody thinks about me. And in fact, I will probably never know what someone thinks about me because unless they tell me what they're thinking, I am just assuming I know what they're thinking. And so I allow myself to kind of go into this negative spiral, which creates anxiety, which creates this distance. And in the whole time, I'm creating this fear of, oh, they don't like me, or I think they think this. And reality is they may not have a clue, they may not care. And so I'm going to encourage you to not necessarily not care, but what others think about you is none of your business, none of your concern. So next, I can only be offended by words if I believe they are true. How many times have you scrolled through social media and someone makes a comment and people go, I'm offended, I didn't like that, I disagree and all that. Or you heard someone say something negative about you and you were like, what the crap? But you got offended. Well, here's something I encourage you. Is if it's true and you don't like it, only you can change it. Or you can be like, that is who I am, and you can get over it. But if it's not true, I'm really going to encourage you to let it go in one ear and out the other. And if somebody does not agree with you, you don't have to be offended. You can simply accept their differences and your differences. Next, vulnerability is not weakness. OMG, if how many times I think I'm weak because I become vulnerable. I think I'm weak when I allow myself to open up in a conversation with a loved one or my husband or my children, and I find myself getting emotional because it's really dear to my heart. Oh my gosh, in my brain, I will tell myself, oh my God, you're so weak, Amanda. This is so stupid. Why would you do this to yourself? But the reality is, I have found there's actually great strength in being vulnerable because then you're relatable. You opened up. Now, you can't control how someone else responds to it, but at least you opened up and got whatever was going on inside of you out in the open. It doesn't mean you're weak. Next, what I've been taught is not a fact. Okay? Not everything you've been taught is actually factual. Yes, we got our education and the things we get taught, but some things that like are an opinion or someone has just said, it doesn't mean it's a fact. And it's okay if you realize something you believed in may not be true. Or if something you did not believe in to be true. It's okay. We've been taught different things through generations, and they're not always true. People change. Wow. That has been a huge one, especially now that I'm older. The people who I've known for many, many years, I look at them now and I'm like, they're not that same person. And a lot of times it's okay. It's actually a better change. Friendships change, relationships change. And it doesn't always mean that it's a bad thing. Sometimes, like I said, change is good. You've changed. If you haven't, then I'm really concerned about you. But going through change only means you're growing. And if you change, and let's say a friendship or maybe a relationship starts drifting away, look at yourself. What changes have you made to make yourself better? Did the other person change for the better for y'all? Or did they change for the better of them? And reality is now y'all are at a place where you don't need to be together anymore. Fear means interest. If you fear something, dig into a little deeper. What is it that you're scared about? Is it something you're interested in, but you have no idea what to do about it? You've never done it before, so you're scared. Look into it. That interest that you're scared about can actually create some really good curiosity and really good learning experiences for you. Next, sometimes less is more. I don't know if you're one to like to keep up with the Joneses, you're one that likes to collect items, I'm not sure, but I will have to say that I am learning a little bit more of a minimalist approach to things. I used to feel like I needed this and I needed that and the things I wanted, and then I would get and get and get and get, and then I look in my closet, I'm like so overloaded and overwhelmed with all this stuff. So sometimes less is more. You know, I found myself early stages of, my children's life. I was trying to throw these big elaborate birthday parties and I was stressing myself out, and some of my favorite birthday parties that I've actually hosted were sometimes the simple ones. So sometimes less is more. To slow down and enjoy the present. We live in such a fast-paced world, and we always seem to look for the next thing that will bring us happiness. If we finally get to this place, if we finally do this thing, we will be happy. But what happens in the present if you're constantly looking forward? You miss out. And something that I'm learning as a mom with my children is, if I keep looking for the next phase, like when we get out of this toddler phase, or when we get out of this back talking phase, when my kids finally can be fully potty trained or dress themselves, then life is going to be so much easier and smoother. But guess what I'm missing out on? I'm missing out on my toddler finding her voice and discovering she is going to be strong-willed. But there's so much joy that can be in strong-willed. When my child is talking back at me, she's really trying to express her opinion. And this is a great opportunity for me to teach her how to share her feelings and her thoughts in a very appropriate way instead of a disrespectful way. So definitely slow down. Enjoy what's happening right now in your life. Struggling does not mean failure. And I used to think this all the time. All the time. I'm struggling. I must not be doing something right. It's not going quite right. I must be failing. No, honestly, this podcast has actually taught me that a struggle is not a failure. I had no idea what I was doing when I started this podcast, and I'm still learning. And there are moments I'm like, oh, this is not good. But you know what? It's me. It's who I am. It's my heart. It's my love. It's my joy to pour out and help other people try to avoid things that, or not avoid, but try not to go down the same mistakes I made. And I'm trying to, help women, specifically women, but I'm trying to help you find who you are now. So you're not 40 years old. You're not 50, 60, 70 years old. Trying to be like, oh, who am I? How do I get confidence? How do I love myself? No, I'm trying to reach you where you are now. So you can love yourself now. And so, struggling doesn't mean failure. It doesn't mean anything. I know eventually this podcast is going to get better. I will only grow and learn. Expect nothing and appreciate everything. Wow. If you're not expecting nothing, just think when something does happen, how even better that's going to be. But appreciate everything you have, because at any moment it could be gone. And I think it's really important to be grateful, show gratitude, but definitely just appreciate where you are in life, what you have in life, who you have in life. Just appreciate it. Peace is more important than understanding why something happened the way it did. And this was a huge changing point. I've mentioned my divorce, years ago, and I don't always understand the why and what all happened. And I may never truly understand. I may never have the other person ask for forgiveness. I may not understand why God would allow two people to get married
go through many years of marriage and then have a child, and then shortly after the child is in this earth, to get divorced. And I may not ever understand the why behind it. I have learned how to accept what has happened. And I have accepted that there are things I will never change and I can never go back. But I have learned to be at peace with the decisions that I have made and the woman I have become from that situation. I don't know why it took me forever to have infertility issues. And I'll never understand the reason behind it. But I can appreciate that I do have 2 biological children. I can't understand why I had 2 miscarriages after having 2 children. But there is a peace to know I was able to get pregnant 4 times. When years ago the doctors were like, I don't understand. No, you're not going to get pregnant. There's also a peace with setting boundaries. A peace with removing toxic people out of your life. There's a peace that happens even if your side of the story is never heard. It's okay. Because your peace and your peace of mind, your comfort, your joy, everything that involves you is more important than truly understanding why something happened. So these are the things that I'm still learning. These are things that I'm sure all of us are learning. But I am definitely going to encourage you to look into these things. And I think it's important to remember some of these points. For example, growth can still be found in the stillness. Well, it's okay to be still. Sometimes less is more. These are things that you can really take with you and learn, but improve yourself and make yourself even better. And so, I'm hoping your holidays are going well, and I hope that as the new year comes, I hope that you can walk into 2024 with some new aspirations, ambitions, and ultimately just loving you. And remember, confidence equals beauty. If you're looking for more information to read on building confidence or just any life situations, please visit www.confidenceequalsbeauty.com. If you have any questions on any topic you want me to cover, please email me at amandarobinson-taylor@gmail.com. If you would please help me get this podcast to more people who could use the community and support, please like, follow, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, please rate this podcast, preferably a good rating, so this podcast can reach more and more people. I want to thank you for spending your time with me, and remember, confidence equals beauty.